Oh hey there lads, my name is Lossy and welcome to a long haul commentary. I have a lot to say on today's topic, so grab a cup of coffee and a biscuit because today I'll be taking a page from Westy's book. The topic at hand is the Pacific DLC for Battlefield 5. It's a hot topic right now because to most players out there, it'll be the content that will either make or break Battlefield 5. With that in mind, I feel as though DICE has gone wrong with one of the most important aspects of delivering content for this game. Not only has there been a lack of content, the way in which it has been showcased and marketed is too convoluted and boring. I said this from the very beginning and was shot down by other players and even some DICE developers. Now, I get it. The game at the time was in a very fragile state, and blame partly has to lie with me for bringing up such a sensitive topic. But now that time has passed, I feel like I can talk about this freely. My point then, and still now today, is that DICE should never have structured the Tides of War live service in the way they have. Let's break down Tides of War for a second. We have Tides of War, which is what DICE call the live service for Battlefield 5. We then have the Fall of Europe, which represented the beginning of the Tides of War and set the stage for the following content. Then we have the chapters. These are the individual content drops, and so far we've seen chapters 1 to 4. Now this is already far too confusing for most players out there. What is Tides of War? Is the Fall of Europe a part of that? What's this about chapters? And when we start talking about odd and even number game patches meaning different things, it results in mass confusion and lots of misinformed players, and it isn't our fault. So, what do I propose? Well, from the end of chapter 4 onwards, I wish DICE would do away with this whole structure. Like my clickbait title suggests, forget chapter 5. Simply refer to it as Battlefield 5, the Pacific. Because as it stands, it's called Battlefield 5, Chapter 5 of the Tides of War, Awakening the Giant. Like, what does that even mean? I thought Overture was a great name. You know, Overture, the beginning. I found that suited pretty well. But Lightning Strikes? What? Or Defying the Odds? Again, what? Even Chapter 3 was a little weird with Trial by Fire. Yes, it's to do with Firestorm, but why not just refer to the DLC as what it is? Firestorm. Or Royale. Let's look at Battlefield 1, which I believe did this best. DLC 1, set in France, was called They Shall Not Pass. The cover art, clearly French. The trailer, clearly French. And if I'm talking to a friend and he tells me his favourite DLC is the French one, well, I know exactly what he's referring to. DLC 2, set in Russia, was called In the Name of the Tsar. The cover art, a bold statement but a clear Russian soldier. The trailer, again, clearly Russian. When I refer to the biggest DLC drop of Battlefield 1, I simply call it the Russian one. Let's go back further. Battlefield 3, Close Quarters. Why? Well, because that's the sort of combat it offered. Aftermath. Why? Well, it's set in the aftermath of an earthquake. You get where I'm going with this. Now let's look at Battlefield 5 again. Chapter 2, Lightning Strikes. What does that mean? Well, it introduced so many things that could have been tied together but weren't. We got Rush, Combined Arms, Squad Conquest, and the Battle of Hanu. Now, that's a big mix of content, so it is tough to unite it all under one heading. But Lightning Strikes is not the one. Even calling it Combined Arms or the Battle of Hanu would give us more of an idea. Chapter 4, Defying the Odds. Again, what did it give us? Lots of infantry maps. Well, let's call it something simple and memorable then. How about Close Range or Infantry Division? They aren't the best, but again, they unite all of that similar content under one heading. Now if a friend asks me, hey, what's your favourite DLC for Battlefield 5? I can reply with, oh, the infantry one. I think the same needs to be done with the Pacific. Do away with Chapter 5, Awakening the Giant, and call it what it is. Battlefield 5 The Pacific. And if it comes in the future, call the next drop Battlefield 5 Eastern Front, or the next drop Battlefield 5 Final Days, or Battlefield 5 Berlin. My point here isn't that the naming scheme for Tides of War is bad, it's just that it's overcomplicated. DICE had their ideas for Tides of War, and let's face it, they fell flat on their face. So now, why not change things up with the Pacific and really draw people in and give them DLC they can understand and identify straight away? With the Pacific on the horizon, I do want to take this time to voice my concerns with it, and how again, I think DICE should market the game. Like we know, Battlefield 5 has had a tremendously tough life so far, and while a lot of the issues and bugs have been fixed in recent patches, a lot of the mistakes from DICE and EA has left a bad taste in people's mouths. It has gotten to the point where people are waiting for something to go wrong just so they can rant and give out about it. It's popular to hate Battlefield 5, and that's a serious issue because while I think the recent content drops have been great, and I think the game is in a very stable place today, the overall opinion of the game is very negative. How can DICE change that? Well, to me, the Pacific is the perfect formula. First and foremost, obviously, the actual content has to be great. That goes without saying. There can't be any major bugs, and people need to be satisfied with what DICE has delivered. That's clear. On the other side of things, the marketing team need to do something special. This can't just be another chapter. They need to call it what it is and show it off. I'd even go as far as making this a whole new relaunch of the game. Do what you did before with Battlefield 1. This will be the perfect time for DICE to release a new Battlefield 5 Revolution Edition, a version of the game that launches with the Pacific and gives players access to all of the previous chapters' content along with maybe the top rewards. Put the game on sale and run events and giveaways. Maybe give existing players something special too, access to previous Tides of War awards through purchase with company coins. Have the Pacific launch on a Friday or something, incorporate Friday night Battlefield into the whole thing, have a live stream from DICE, get the community managers involved, run a Twitter takeover with each of the level designers who worked on the new maps, release a kick-ass trailer. Actually, to be honest, the trailer is about the only thing I can confidently see happening here. DICE trailers are always top-notch. I really want Battlefield 5 to perform. I want DICE developers to be proud of their game and actually want to go into work. I want the players to enjoy playing the game and to look forward to the new content on the way. If the Pacific is in as good a state as I was led to believe when I was out at Gamescom, then EA and DICE need to show it off. I'm not sure if there's much of a marketing budget left, but if the content is good, then it should be shown off, and I know people will flock back to this game. DICE has been on the defense for far too long. It's about time we saw the old DICE. The Hurt Puppy Act is getting old now. Stop the silent treatment, release content that you're proud of, and show it off to the world. All of this comes from a place of passion. I really do love this game franchise and only want it to succeed. That's why it's so frustrating when mistakes are consistently made. We know DICE can do good. It's just we haven't seen it. All you have to do is take a look back at past Battlefield titles. Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, even Battlefield 1. Players flock back to these games because of how well made and how content rich they are. It's time Battlefield 5 reached that level, because I really do believe that the core game here is fantastic. It's just got a whole lot of rubbish holding it back. But anyway, thank you lads for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, then please do leave me a like down below, or a dislike if you didn't. Drop a comment if you have anything to share on the topic. I'd love to hear what you lads think. Should DICE carry on the way they're going, or should they change things up in favour of more memorable DLC drops? Let me know. Subscribe to the channel for more Battlefield content from me, and hit the bell icon just in case YouTube breaks. But until the next video, I'll see you lads later.